Hello and welcome to our Euro Tech Week in review for November 9th through 15th. In the next minutes, we'll take you through the biggest moves in European tech, from major funding rounds to AI breakthroughs, policy shifts, and high-stakes M&A. Let's jump in.
We start in London, where fintech scale-up Zilch raised over $175 million in a mix of equity and debt. The round was led by Czech investment group KKCG. Zilch, known for its buy now, pay later and consumer lending services, plans to use the new capital to expand its product offering, boost marketing, and even pursue acquisitions. With a valuation around £1.5 billion, Zilch now sits among the UK's most valuable fintech startups. Not bad in a year where many fintechs struggled to raise at all.
Why does this matter? Because investor confidence in European fintech has been shaky, yet Zilch's raise shows that strong business models can still attract big capital. It's also a sign that European lenders and buy now, pay later platforms aren't going anywhere. They're doubling down and consolidating.
By the way, if you didn't yet listen to our deep dive on European payment system, I strongly suggest you do it after finishing this episode.
Germany's deep tech scene also had a standout moment. Ferroelectric Memory Company, FMC, a Dresden-based semiconductor startup, secured €100 million to commercialize a new class of energy-efficient memory chips. Their DRAM Plus technology promises faster, greener data processing for AI and cloud infrastructure. The round was backed by major VCs and supported by public subsidies. FMC plans to scale production and bring prototypes to market.
This is exactly the kind of chip innovation Europe wants. Homegrown, energy efficient, and strategically important. As AI workloads explode, the world needs more efficient hardware, and Europe needs local champions to reduce reliance on US and Asian chipmakers.
Big AI news in Britain. UK startup Locai Labs unveiled L1 Large, the country's first fully homegrown foundational language model. The model powers Locai, a general-purpose AI assistant positioned as a rival to global leaders like OpenAI and Anthropic. Locai Labs claims strong performance on human-like conversation benchmarks, and the company is experimenting with novel self-learning techniques that reduce the need for massive datasets and huge compute resources.
This is a milestone. Europe has long relied on US and Chinese AI models. A credible sovereign model built entirely in the UK shows that Europe can compete at the frontier and do so in a more energy-efficient, cost-effective way.
In policy news, Brussels made headlines by opening an antitrust investigation into Google. Regulators suspect Google may be unfairly lowering the visibility of news publishers in search results, a potential breach of the Digital Markets Act. If confirmed, fines could reach up to 10% of Google's global revenue. Meanwhile, in the UK, the government dropped a proposed exit tax on founders who move their companies abroad. The idea sparked strong backlash from startup leaders who warned it would deter innovation and push talent out of the country. After industry pressure, the tax was shelved, a relief to the UK tech community.
These two stories show Europe walking a tightrope. Strong regulation to keep big tech in check, but without choking local innovation. The EU is enforcing competition rules, while the UK is signaling it wants to remain attractive to founders and fast-growing startups.
And finally, a big deal on the M&A front. European private equity firm Permira and US fund Warburg Pincus are in talks to acquire Clearwater Analytics, a financial software provider, for roughly $5.5 billion. Clearwater provides cloud-based tools for investment portfolio management and went public in 2021. If this buyout happens, it would be one of the largest transatlantic tech acquisitions of the year.
The deal highlights a trend we're seeing everywhere. European investors are hunting for scale, and they're increasingly willing to go global to find it. Despite a volatile market, private equity activity in tech remains strong. especially for firms with predictable revenue and mission-critical software.
And that wraps up the key stories from this week in European tech. From huge funding rounds in fintech and semiconductors, to major leaps in AI, to policy moves shaping the continent's tech future.
Thank you for listening to the Euro Tech Week in Review. Stay tuned for next week's roundup of the biggest developments across the continent.
This podcast was produced by Asif Rajani and brought to you by Eurotech.vc, empowering Europe to lead the global tech race.